corporal and then
transcend time and space, baby.
These were people that was masters of time and space, the nature and relationship of numbers and so forth. And so they was able to use sound frequency and their prowess of the chemical relationship of the numbers to raise their DNA, which is totally manipulatable by frequencies and sound. And our DNA is surrounded by water, and you know how highly water is manipulated by sound and frequency. So they was able to use these things to lift themselves up, and ultimately endelve translucent bodies, and ultimately after that incorporeal bodies. And so you wouldn't see them with flesh as you would see, expect to see somebody. These people would be like collection of particles, having transcended time and space. They could reach to us beyond frequency of dimension, and they were far beyond bodies. And so that would be closer to our ultimate goal. Our ultimate goal is to lift the complication of our sequential DNA, our particle soul, to levels that will no longer need a corporeal body. And in doing this, you would be able to have greater harness, of the natural orders of the universe. And then ultimately after that, you will be able to endelve that into a body, and then know a corporeal existence with a non-corporeal spirit. You know what I'm saying? As our spirits are more dense, much more dense in frequency than their spirits they know. Ultimately, that's why, it's the yoga goal to lift your spirit in, frequency. The higher in density it goes, the higher in dimensional aspect you're able to achieve. The lower in density it goes, the lower in dimensional aspect you're able to achieve. So these are things like rage, anger, frustration, and so forth. That's why they say love, peace, understanding, and so forth is closer to the dimensional frequency that you would need to envelop to lift your dimensional frequency up to higher dimensional paths, and so forth. So later species, these are much later species that had to use yoga, that had to use pain on their body to be able to transmute the geomagnetic energies of the sun's heartbeat, the earth's heartbeat, and all that. Use yoga pose.
Like we can use the energy from the sun right now to transmute it and make our bodies feel much more healthier, secure, and wealthier. And then any doubts that come into the mind, it be smited, because we all know our everyday actions will be absorbing the sun, and the sun is the most powerful vitamin D you can ever have if you soak it up with the intentions of absorbing health within your body, getting that normal sun beach, relaxing body, lay down time.
Yeah, so it is amazing to know, people, they're very crippled in, the knowledge of where they come from. They're very crippled in their purpose and goal. When people thought they, the one goal in life is to be able to garner as much electromagnetic knowledge of the universe that you're able to garner into a corporeal being, and then find a way to make that existence immortal, so you can bring that knowledge and that oneness as far as you can into existence, to be able to correlate that to that next, generation of existences, and then become one with that existence, and then carry that knowledge even further into the future.
Oh yeah.
Into a future that will be in oneness, because everybody will be striving to the light. That's the ultimate goal of the soul.
Let me get them. What do you talk about on a daily? We gotta talk about evolving as a human being. We can't be put people down and putting the person, another body, on a pedestal. We gotta see eye to eye. We gotta love as one. We gotta see equality in all circumstances, and learn how to look at all angles from a different perspective, because we all have different lenses inside this virtual reality that we call life. You have to be understanding and think about what the feelings that the other person is going through in most circumstances, just to upgrade your level of understanding, so you can not make assumptions, and not make assumptions or take it personally. I write it down, because you can forget. You gotta just be consistent with what you want to experience inside your life, because guess what? Your life is being manifested anyway. You might as well do it consciously. Yeah.
I agree with that 100%. It said the goal always precedes before you. You never come to the fullness of knowledge. You can never come to the fullness of knowledge of anything, because as one dimension gives way to another, your 3 is somebody else's 6, and somebody else's 6 is someone else's 9. So the path always proceeds before you. The mountain always goes higher as you think you're at the summit. So you can never stop the pathway to learning. You can always extend that path. You can always seek. You can always ask questions. Ask yourself, question the universe around you. The answers is all around you. They're constantly pouring into you. The universe is nothing but zeros and ones. Zeros and ones is the collection of data. In that sense, data is always around you, always embracing you, always trying to find a porthole through which to correlate to you and convey to you its messages. We just have to be on a high enough density to be able to receive its messages and the correlation of it. And then we have to have the destination to be able to break it apart and make some sort of sense of it, as some of the greats through time and history have done. And that is our ultimate goal, as I perceive it.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Ultimate goal is to improve perception and evolve yourself as an individual being.